I'll have a look at the wares.
I was glad to be of help to you, good sir.
What do you want?
I need to take a load off.
What'll it be this time, Henry?
I could use the company of a pretty bath maid.
Great, but it'll cost you.
I'll gladly pay you.
Wonderful. You'll see. You'll be happy to come back here. That second round was on the house. See you next time, handsome. It happens. Just watch where you're going next time.
done in no time. That should do it. Can't get any better than this.
God bless you, sir.
Greetings. What would you like?
I heard the castle is haunted by demons again, Nicodemus. Did they bother you too?
They did indeed. A few days ago, I was in the chapel, deep in prayer, when a spawn of hell appeared before me. Fac mihi hominium. Swear an oath of allegiance to me.
My God. What did you say to it?
I laughed in the face of the Prince of Darkness. Would you not rather renounce your slavery and return to heaven? I told him. Without hesitation, he replied, better to rule hell than to be a slave in heaven. And then he disappeared, veiled in a terrible, foul-smelling smoke.
Whew. That sounds horrifying. But anyway, like I said, I was told to sprinkle water. If they dare try that even on a man of faith, nothing else will help.
I'm glad you have faith in the Lord, and not in some old wives' tales. Now take up your task, and rid us of that hellspawn. May the Lord guide you.
Greetings. Do you need something?
I'm here for some horse tack. I hear you have something for me.
Well, fuck me blind. Only yesterday you were delivering horseshoes and today you have your own horse? I'm amazed. But you're fucking things up for me and making a mess. And I don't want to get a whipping on your account. I've got the tack ready, but I've been ordered to show you our herring first. You can take him, they said. So kindly take a look at him in the stable here and tell me if you want him or not. Take care.
I took a look at herring.
And?
A nice animal, but I'll keep my own.
Never mind looking a gift horse in the mouth, you flat out refuse to accept one. You're lost though, pal. Actually, now we've got to know each other, I want to let you in on this little scheme. We could both get something out of it. But you'd have to keep it to yourself. What do you say? Can you keep your mouth shut when coin's at stake?
I can keep my mouth shut. You can count on it. What's this about coin then?
Look, it's easy as pie. You keep your horse, which you wanted to do anyway, but I'll say you took herring, and then I'll sell him to someone. You'll do all right out of it. I'll pay you up front.
Hey, Kabat. That's not a bad plan. I'm in.
Grand! Here's your coin. I'll take care of the rest. Right, now we can get back to the reason you're here. You know how to ride and control a horse?
Don't worry. I'm right at home with horses. I learned to ride with cumans on my tail, and arrows whistling past my head. A tough school it was.
Well, I'll be damned. I never heard such a thing before. But even an experienced horseman like you needs equipment, as you well know. You can tack him up yourself, right?
Sure. Thanks.
Take care, sir. What are you whistling for?
Mutt! Here, Mutt! Come here, boy.
God be with you. God be with you. Keep the peace. We'll stay friends.
God be with you. How's the watch going? I heard some interesting books from Prague have arrived at the castle. There's one I'd like to borrow. An alchemist's cookbook. A sand-coloured cover, embossed.
Yes, several rare and astonishing books have arrived from Prague. But why are you interested in an alchemist's cookbook, of all things?
I've heard there are some interesting ideas in it. Every alchemist is in dogged pursuit of wisdom, especially those from Prague.
Perhaps you know more about that book than I do. Well, I'll have to disappoint you. Lord Nickvard Libak helped me sort the new books at the time, and the one you're looking for caught his attention. He left with it before I could even discover what it's about. All I remember is the author's initials, B.B. I'm fairly benevolent when it comes to lending books, and I appreciate Nickvard's help, but he's had it borrowed for an excessive amount of time now. I'd like to ask him to return it, but he's been avoiding me.
Why would Nickvard suddenly be avoiding you?
I have a sneaking suspicion. It seems Nickvard lost the book. I've warned him repeatedly not to carry borrowed books around with him, but to leave them in his chamber and read them there. But Nickvard is old and stubborn, and this is how things turn out.
Well, it's still just a book. Paper and leather.
You say that? To a scribe?
I thought there were more precious things. Like a human life.
We could have a long discussion comparing the value of a Takovite peasant's life with, say, a treatise on physics by Hildegard von Bingen. But I digress. As I said, Nickvard is intentionally avoiding me. But I've made headway. I've managed to find 3 people who've spoken to him recently. Bertha the cook, Regina the maid, and Hirsch the hand.
I reckon those aren't the only 3 people that know him.
I'm surprised that he's ever spoken to anyone but myself. Nickvard is a loner, which is also why I suspect something bad has happened. Now that he's decided to leave his shell, that is. But I'm afraid that's all I've managed to find out. Since Lord von Berkove's arrival, I've been preoccupied with other matters.
I'll help you. I'll ask all 3 and see if they lead me to Nickvard.
Many thanks. If you aren't sure what to do, stop by and we'll discuss what you found out.
I won't keep you any longer.
Greetings. Do you need something?
Do you know where I can find Nickvard? The scribe said you might know.
Erazim is suddenly interested in Nickvard and me. You don't say. But when I need him to read something for me, he never has the time. I'm sorry.
I was asking about Nickvard.
Aye, I heard you. Say, can you read?
I can.
In that case, would you mind reading this message I have from Nigvard?
Show me. Dear Mistress of the Chambers. What is it?
Oh, what I wouldn't give to get messages from someone else. Say, Lord Capen. Never mind. Read on. Though I reckon it interests you more than me.
Persevere. We shall soon escape the dungeon of those two women. Cursed fate, however, has placed an obstacle in my way. The heat of the Lightbringer's potion is working, and I can feel my insides being reborn. But when the last remnants of old age left my body, something else was washed away with them.
How much longer is it?
Not much. My damn clumsiness has sent all of the Lightbringer's secrets into the void, but fear not, I shall get them back. May this be the first task on the road to your liberation. That's it.
Beautiful.
True enough. Nigvard has a flair for the dramatic.
My, that's Liebach for you.
But what does it mean? Can you explain any of it to me?
Lord Liebach has taken a liking to me. I suggested to him it wasn't proper for a noble to have an affair with a maid. He thought I meant he was too old for me. But then he found what he calls the Lightbringer's Potion Book. He said it would light a flame in him that would burn out all that's old. So I suppose it worked. Hooray!
I know the book he's talking about, but what does he mean, into the void?
Look, can we stop talking about this? I feel a little uncomfortable here talking about some old lovelorn nobleman.
I need help. You can give it some thought, can't you?
No! And now leave me alone.
No thanks.
What are you doing, prowling about here?
How bold of you. You steal something from us and then you go walking around. And with it on. That's not happening.
Why are you wearing
You
our
better
thing?
pay me compensation, you blackguard.
Easy. Let's talk about this.
I'll handle this criminal.
All right. You caught me. I surrender.
Ah, here you are. You're a thief, and I'll treat you as such. You're even stupid enough to be wearing what you stole.
All right, I'll pay. I don't want any trouble.
Now I'll take those stolen items and see if you have anything else that doesn't belong to you.
Have a look then.
Right. I thought as much. I know this here doesn't belong to you either. All right. That, along with indulgence, should be enough. But I don't want to see anything like that again.
We better be careful, in case something else bad happens.
We're done here, right? So clear off.
Excuse me?
How can I help you, sir?
Show me your wares.
Thank you, sir. And come again.
I'd like to learn a new combat technique.
Why not? If you have a bit of time, I can teach you something. I can show you how I teach the local men to fight with pikes. It's not that noble a weapon, but it's dangerously effective. One slash across the belly and you've got him where you want him. What do you say?
That sounds good. Teach me that.
Gladly. You start slicing the pike with a slow arc to yank the opponent's weapon aside. This will throw him off balance. So then you slice the pike's blade into his unprotected belly. If you do it right, it's all over. There's no more to be done. Believe me. Now come and try it a few times.
I'd like to learn a new combat technique.
Why not? If you have a bit of time, I can teach you something. As you can probably figure, I like the longsword because it's beautiful and an absolutely nimble weapon. Our grandfathers didn't use them, but today in Prague, everyone is tripping over themselves to learn how to fight with one. I'll be happy to show you how to handle it better. What do you say?
That sounds good. Teach me that.
As you wish. The first thing is to realize a sword has two blades. And thanks to your second hand on the hilt, you can quickly spin it around and hit your opponent's head. These are exactly the techniques that make the longsword an extremely deadly weapon. Now come and try it a few times.
I'd like to learn a new combat technique.
Why not? If you have a bit of time, I can teach you something. I like a longsword, but there's not much room for it in the heat of battle, where brute force will come in more handy for you. Such a hit with the pommel of a sword, handle of an axe, or edge of a shield will certainly disorient everyone. Would you like me to show you?
That sounds good. Teach me that.
All right. As I already said, often mainly brute force will help you in a fight. Attack with any short weapon a few quick times. Then, move towards the opponent and hit him in the face with the shaft. Oh, and if you have a shield, use it. That will definitely ruin your opponent's day. Now come and try it a few times.
Can we fight?
What would you prefer? A practice fight or a real one?
Nah, I don't want wooden weapons. Let's have a proper fight.
How many opponents do you want?
Nah, this isn't my first time. I can handle 3.
All right, let's get started.
Show what you're made of.
Well, have you had enough?
Plenty.
I expected more from you, Henry. Maybe you'll fare better next time.
Everyone should have a good bow on hand.
Which king would that be?
Oh, I don't know exactly. But when the king commands, it's up like that.
So you're just wandering aimlessly, eh? Correct, you nightcrawler.
Mutt! Look what I have for you. I'm looking for Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Well, I'm waiting for Lord Libac to stop by. I brewed him another phial of medicine, but I don't even know if the last one helped. I told him to stop by for another one soon. I reckon he must be feeling better.
Did he say where he was headed?
I can't say. I promised Lord Libac his secret is safe with me, as well as his phial of medicine.
Oh, come now. Nickvard misplaced an important book somewhere. A sort of alchemist cookbook. I need to find it.
I remember the recipes by heart. And Lord Libac's secret is certainly worth more than any book.
Well, if a nobleman's secret is worth so much, how about this? That'll buy you more than one book.
I suppose Lord Libac wouldn't mind. And do you have the exact amount?
Of course.
So many groschen. I promise I'll split it with Lord Libac when I see him, and I'll explain everything.
But now tell me, what's the medicine for?
Well, it's a common potion for a bellyache. Just better tasting. It helps your meals go down easier and come out slower the other end. In that regard, Lord Libac had, well, how to say it? Everything came out much too quickly.
Just say it. He shot himself.
It was in the privy down below the Crone, by the training ground below the guardhouse. I helped him clean his hose and made him the medicine, and I promised that I wouldn't say anything. Lord Libac is quite particular about the impression he makes on the young maids, you know. He didn't want this little episode to put them off. That's why he didn't use the privy near the maids' quarters, though it's closer to his chamber, but to the arena instead, and only when there weren't any soldiers around. But this time, it caught up with him.
Is that all?
What else is there to say? That the entire time he looked as if he'd done the worst thing in the world. It happens to the best of us. And I told him as much then. I'm just surprised he never came back for another file. I must say, he did look as if the fate of the entire castle was suddenly on his shoulders.
I don't know if this is going to do me any good.
Well, you could have found a worse clue.
Thanks anyway. Let's fight.
We can, but we'd better just use wooden weapons, so I don't finish you off.
I don't mind.
All right, then. What will we fight with?
A short sword is good enough for me.
What should I take?
You take a long sword.
Shall we get started?
Let's do this.
Stop! I need a breather. What do you want to try next?
That's enough for now. I need to rest for a bit.
All right. I'll be here.
Did you hear? Apparently there's demons in the castle.
Damn it! If they weren't before, you surely just summoned them here yourself.
What? How?
Every time you say the word demon, one shows up. Don't you know that? Some words just shouldn't be used.
You just used it yourself.
Corva! You tricked me, you blackguard!
A demon!
Stop it, you madman! I'm deadly serious. You have no idea what you're messing with. They really worked me over when I was little.
All right, I'll shut up.
About time.
My, what a beautiful horse.
Easy. Easy. Nice and slow. Good.
Good to see you.
Good doggy. Good boy.
Greetings, Master Guard.
What are you here for, friend?
Greetings to you, friend.
Slowly. Nice and slow. Yes? Hmm? You must be Nick Vard, eh? Poor wretch. Sand-coloured cover, embossed. That'll be the book Crazel wants, but it's quite ordinary. Apart from being covered in shit.
What was that sound? Hail, good man.
How are you faring, girl?
Well, you know how it is. We minstrels are always on the move. Times are lean and folk need a laugh.
You're not wrong. The poorer people get, the more they drink and sin, and laugh while they're at it.
The poor man sins, the noble sins twice, but the monk and priest are the masters of vice.
Why did I even agree to this? I'm going to lose my money again.
I'm afraid it is time to part, minstrel girl.
Farewell, handsome. Maybe our paths will cross again.
God bless you, sir.
I have the book for you.
Well, I must admit, I haven't had an apprentice this handy in a long time. Zinnik has nothing on you.
I didn't even look inside.
You had a treasure like this in your hands, and you weren't even curious to have a peek? Well, I suppose it's not for everyone. I'll have a look for myself. This really is something. But why is it all covered in shit, for fuck's sake?
Let's just say the scribe didn't have it. It actually wasn't even in the castle. Under it, really.
Oh, refining saltpeter. Boil wine and alum. Grind. Ah, of course, it makes sense. I'll study the rest on the way. Well, the last chapter of our story of knowledge awaits us. The grand finale.
So what now? Do you have another job for me?
Charcoal. Sulfur from Hermes Trismegistos. Saltpeter from the carcass pit. As long as Black Bertolt didn't make any mistakes in his calculations, we have everything.
What Bertolt? Oh, God damn it, Crazer, what's going on here? I'm tired of flying back and forth like a rag on a stick. I won't be led around by the nose. Will you finally tell me what's going on?
Believe it or not, all this secrecy had its reasons. But now I don't have to hide anything from you. It's time. We'll meet with the others in the lair, and there you'll learn the whole truth. You go ahead. I'm going to get a few things ready here.
All right, then. I hope you keep your word this time.
Fair enough.
by and visit her sometime.
Feel free. You're no longer in mortal danger.
What'll happen now?
Our last supper, with only one but very filling course, awaits us.
Crazel, please. For once, just once, tell me what's actually going on.
And rob myself of enjoying your blissful ignorance? Not a chance. Tell me yourself, what do you think is going to happen?
Like always. You'll send me off somewhere to look for something, and you'll have a fancy speech to go with it.
He knows you now as well as we do, Miller.
I do tend to do that, true enough. But no, today things will be different. Bonnie will start today. At least I'll finally see if she understood my teachings. Bonnie?
First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole gang for all the work you've done. We could never have finished the job without you. We found 2 new partners, you and Monarch here. It's good to have someone to rely on. So, it's time we started being honest with you, so you can finally learn the whole truth.
Not yet. Let's pull up that uppity bastard's leg a bit longer. That's the fun part!
Never mind him. Speak.
All right, then. This whole time, you've been collecting ingredients and clues for us. But, so you wouldn't go nosing around, we always told you it was for something different than it actually was.
The miller here calls it tackets.
Tactics, you idiot. And everything worked out according to plan. So today we're finally close to our great success. With the help of Hermes Trismegisto and his successors, we'll finally complete the dream of all alchemists. Our magnum opus.
Exactly, Bonnie.
Magnum opus. A great work of alchemy.
You silly dog.
Huh?
Quick! Whoa! Whoa! What'll happen now?
Our last supper, with only one but very filling course, awaits us.
Crazel, please. For once, just once, tell me what's actually going on.
And rob myself of enjoying your blissful ignorance? Not a chance. Tell me yourself, what do you think is going to happen?
Like always. You'll send me off somewhere to look for something, and you'll have a fancy speech to go with it.
He knows you now as well as we do, Miller.
I do tend to do that, true enough. But no, today things will be different. Bonnie will start today. At least I'll finally see if she understood my teachings. Bonnie?
First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole gang for all the work you've done. We could never have finished the job without you. We found 2 new partners, you and Monarch here. It's good to have someone to rely on. So, it's time we started being honest with you, so you can finally learn the whole truth.
Not yet. Let's pull up that uppity bastard's leg a bit longer. That's the fun part!
Never mind him. Speak.
All right, then. This whole time, you've been collecting ingredients and clues for us. But, so you wouldn't go nosing around, we always told you it was for something different than it actually was.
The miller here calls it tackets.
Tactics, you idiot. And everything worked out according to plan. So today we're finally close to our great success. With the help of Hermes Trismegisto and his successors, we'll finally complete the dream of all alchemists. Our magnum opus.
Exactly, Bonnie.
Magnum opus. A great work of alchemy. You're trying to make the Philosopher's Stone.
I see you've learned something after all. But no, the Philosopher's Stone isn't our goal.
Let's see then, Henry. What is it you think we're making here?
Some kind of weapon?
Well, Henry's not too far from the truth after all, don't you think? Actually, he's pretty spot on. Although weapons were our last order of business. Let's start at the beginning. My father was a miller as well, but I was never much interested in the trade. Even as a young boy, I loved running around Lower Samine and investigating everything living and dead. And I had a lot of questions about everything. Then my mother, God rest her soul, decided it'd be best for me to go to study in Prague. As soon as I grew up and gained a bit of sense, I packed my bags and left.
What did your father have to say about it?
He wasn't too happy about it, that's for sure. But Mother kept pestering him until he yielded. I met a lot of remarkable people at the university, and my thirst for knowledge kept growing. But in the end, it only took a year of all that pretentious, scholarly blathering and hypocritical nonsense for me to realize I wouldn't learn anything proper there. Most of the students and masters are just a bunch of dogmatic fools. They have their own truth, and those who want to know more or ask the wrong questions fall into disfavor, as was my case.
And what about your thirst for knowledge?
I realized I didn't need the university for things that are truly important. The most important science is not subject to any religious dogma. And, of course, it's not taught at any university.
You mean alchemy?
Exactly. The art of combination and dissolution. The key to understanding the very nature of the world. There's only one queen of science. Alchemy. I returned to the mill in Lower Samine and started a new life.
Keep it short, Crazel. I just want to know what it is you're doing here. I don't need to know your life story.
You're the one always asking questions. But fine. Straight to the point. Once I tried mixing sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. I had a candle burning next to me. A gust of wind scattered the mixture, and all of a sudden, bang! I almost shit myself, I tell you. But then I realized I'd unwittingly created a miracle. Explosive black powder.
So I was right. You're making weapons.
No, it's about much more than that. We're all in on it now.
I couldn't continue my experiments on my own, but Bonnie and Zinnig did a few little jobs for me.
So he initiated us.
But we just still didn't know how to do it right and not blow ourselves up in the process.
And we used up a huge amount of saltpeter and sulfur.
By the way, the manuscript from that Hermes Trismegistos was our shopping list and price list for material from Gutenberg.
Only we didn't know correct proportions. I looked up a few of my former fellow students and brought it up with them. And we found out that before us, some monk had already made the discovery.
Some fella called Black Bertold. And that he even started writing a book called
Feuerwerkbuch.
We couldn't believe our luck when we found out there's a copy of it right here at Trotsky.
And you know the rest.
It's a discovery that will change history. In the right hands, it can make miracles happen. All it takes is a spark, and a storm of fire will sweep away the old world order. It will wipe out stupidity and ignorance, once and for all.
And what will happen now?
As I said, we're about to have our last supper on our journey to satisfy our hunger for knowledge. A feast of smoke and fire. Black Bertold never finished his book, because he never had enough ingredients for his last great experiment. But now, thanks to you, we do. We can finally finish Bertold's work and finish his book. We'll see with our own eyes what a barrel of black powder can do. I hope you're as excited as I am.
I've heard enough. Now I want to see that with my own eyes.
Let's do it then. Bonnie, is everything ready?
Indeed it is. We can get started. Long live the beautiful new world.
Looks like it ain't working.
I'd say it works just fine.
This will change history.
What? I can't hear a thing. But I'd say it works just fine.
Instead of mixing this stuff. As long as you listen to me and keep the proportions right, I might actually listen to you if my ears ever stop ringing. Oh, you pooch.
Black powder? Well, now.
You didn't expect that, eh?
We're in the middle of the forest next to a mill. Who'd have expected exploding trees?
Aye, well, never judge a firework book by its cover.
Did Crazel tell you that joke?
Corva, how do you know that? Anyways, I hope the miller gives us a bit of extra coin now things has finally worked out.
In the worst case, you can go back to licking the walls of pigsties.
But next time you'll be coming with me. Take care and consider taking a bath.
Black powder? I'd never have expected that from Crazel.
Imagine, that monarch of ours is half deaf.
That dog of yours? What does that have to do with the gunpowder magazine?
Just that I was wondering that the explosions didn't bother him at all. At least he won't suffer here. And now I'm not surprised he was so unhappy with that bastard Vasarik. Hey, how did you know what we were actually doing?
I didn't exactly.
But you said weapons. How did you find out? Did we let it slip somehow?
As soon as I found out you were looking for sulphur, I was certain you were up to some devilment.
Aye, well, that's on Zenek. If that idiot hadn't lost the manuscript, you'd be none the wiser. But then, we probably wouldn't have met, and that'd be a shame. Anyway, you did a damn fine job. You deserve a nickname from me, like I promised. We're going to call you Sourdough.
Sourdough, eh? Doesn't sound too bad.
See, I told you I was better at coming up with nicknames than Zenek. Take care then, Sourdough. And come back and visit sometime.
You really led me on about the gunpowder magazine, didn't you? A golem made of dough, souls inside saltpeter, the secrets of light and shadow. That was all just empty talk, wasn't it?
Not exactly. It's all based on the real philosophy of the Jewish Kabbalah. I studied the writings of Bonaventura and Dietrich von Freiberg, but it was never in my interest to put their theories into practice. But they work brilliantly as a cover-up, don't you think?
I really thought you'd have a golem made from dough walking around the mill, or that I could become invisible.
Ah, but black powder is no less a miraculous creation.
So for the last time, Crazel, what now?
I'll do what I promised, and what will most likely be my fate. I'm going to gather together all the knowledge I've acquired and finish Black Berthold's book. I'll finish his opus.
Uh-huh. And what about me?
That's up to you, Henry. You're a free man. Lord Samin has no hold over you, and never did. You know, the inevitability of God's plan takes no interest in people like you and me. We'll always be little people, beneath it all.
That sounds somehow hopeful in a peculiar way, I'd say. Now I'm even happier about the great thing we've accomplished here.
The ideal conclusion, I'd say. Maybe it's time to carry sacks at a different mill. But if you're still interested in learning a bit more, drawing from the well of alchemical knowledge...
I know where to find you.
Indeed.